What's up, everyone? Here to do Hunter x Hunter episode 102, and this week's episode was very simple. So it'll probably be a little bit of a shorter review than usual, but there still were some interesting points in it. It was okay. It was very dialogue heavy, but we definitely got introduced to a very new, interesting power. And I just have to say, Togashi, man, he is so creative with these nin abilities because it's really hard to distinguish like which category is of like what. I don't know. Like I think I know the categories pretty well, and some of these powers are just so unique. It's very hard to tell, but it was an okay episode. It wasn't like horrible just because we got introduced to some new things, but average episode. And I guess I'll go through some of the main points of what I thought was interesting in the episode. So in the beginning of the episode, we have Gon and Meleron, which is the name of the Tremelian, and he's telling him that he shouldn't smoke cigarettes because it'll mess with his invisibility ability. And he says, well, that really doesn't matter. And he says, because that isn't really my real power. And he introduces us to a power, I think it's called Perfect Plan. Yeah, I believe it's called Perfect Plan. And it's literally like erasing somebody's presence from their mind. Like they could be touching you and like you're not even sure whether they're there or not. But there are some like downsides to it, as he stated, but it was still very interesting though, because he ends up telling Gon that why he wants him to help him is so he can defeat the king. And what he says about the king is, which is very interesting, he wants revenge because he killed somebody very important to him, which was Peggy. And I'm sure we all know how Peggy went out, and it was kind of messed up. But he says that at that moment he didn't realize what was going on because I also said this in one of my earlier reviews that human like memories were gonna come into like play in the story. I just knew they were, just because some of them were getting human memories or memories of their past lives. So I said before that like I really think that they will play a huge part in the story, and they did, because he ends up telling Gon that he killed his foster father, who was really into books, and pretty much Peggy was his foster father in his human life. So it was just really interesting to find out that like that's why he wanted revenge, because of that. And also we found out something else that was pretty interesting, that he can give other people his power and all he has to do is touch them, and the king wouldn't realize if somebody hits them. But Gon ends up telling him that he feels as though he knows somebody else that can use this ability in a better way. And he was talking about Knuckle, but in my opinion, that makes no sense. Why wouldn't he like call the chairman? But as Knuckle said, the chairman was like nobody can contact him right now. But I just thought it was a really interesting ability. And he calls Knuckle and tells him that he can trust himself. And Knuckle also finds out what's happening, and we get a little bit of insight on what Morale and Nova are doing. And they decide to protect the capital and stop Neferpitou, but because they're doing this, they will be really tired. And oh my gosh, I've already said this in multiple reviews that I do not see how Killua and Gon could defeat just Neferpitou. Knuckle? Oh man, this had me dying. When Knuckle said that, like I seriously laughed out loud. Just because like I just don't see. He said them matching up with the Royal Guards, like Gon versus Neferpitou and Killua versus like one of them, and those four of them. I mean, I figure either way, like Knuckle and Shoot would take one-on-one, and Gon and Killua would take another one. But in my opinion, there's absolutely no way that any of them can take out any of the Royal Guards. Like I barely see that anyways in general. So I just really don't know. Like they're gonna have to. Togashi's gonna have to get really strategic with this one, because I'm just really not sure how this is even remotely possible. Why they would even think that. And we also get to see like a little scene of with the chairman powering up, and that's who that person was about 2 episodes ago, just like shrouding all this aurora, and that shit looks crazy. Like, it's just so huge. And yeah, so after that pretty much sums things up with the whole first part of the episode. It was like, the whole first like 18 minutes, and after that we just have the king, and he's just really bored in the palace. He's playing like the best people at all these different board games, and I'm not really sure what they called the game, but they were saying that it was similar to checkers, but it had a third dimension. I'm not really familiar with the game, so I'm not even going to try to explain it. But apparently that country that they were in has won the national title like for the last certain amount of years, and they bring the best players. So in other words, he would be the best in the world if he beat this person. And I also did wonder from the new ending, and by the way, I love the new ending. I like the music and the whole like all the pictures and everything. I thought it was interesting and cool, but I was wondering who that character was who they kept showing next to the king. And at the end of the episode, it's just said that the king doesn't know how this person will change like his outlook on life, and I just thought it was interesting that, like, I don't know, I just don't know what could change the king at this point, just because like he can do what he wants. Like, he's pretty much the most powerful being on earth as far as we know. But they were another thing I want to mention, Knuckles says that should they call for reinforcements. Like, that's pretty obvious to me. Like, yeah, you guys should, but I'm not sure if they're coming in this arc. But I am like praying that we see the trope again. That will be so sick if we see someone fighting Royal Guard. Like, I feel like we would see some super epic battles, and they'll definitely catch my interest. But that's pretty much the episode. It was very, very simple. I didn't even have to say this much, but let me know what you guys thought about the episode. It was just like mediocre to me. It wasn't really anything special, but let me know what you guys think. That's all I have, and thanks.